First, I would like to pay my homage respect to the Triple Gem, the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. My name is Tim from USA. Good evening to Cambodia. Good morning and good afternoon to the United States and other countries across the world. We, on behalf of Dhammika Life Organization, we would like to thank you for everyone for joining us live for our Dhamma talk discussion. Today's Dhamma discussion will be about how to best live our lives amongst this increasing pandemic, stressful conditions that affects our lives every day around the globe. If we cannot change things to be at its normal again, then how can we all improve our lifestyle to have a healthy physical and mental sanitation? So we have invited speakers from different corners of the world to express their situation and to share tips for the well-being of our physical and mental health. So before we get into our topic discussion, I would like to have our sister Chatsapip to introduce our speakers. Chatsapip.
Thank you, Sister Sakon. First of all, I would like to pay my homage to the Triple Gem, the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, and greeting to all Ponte Dhamma friends, ladies and gentlemen, for spending time with us tonight for our Dhamma talk on physical and mental sanitation. Looking at the new normal after the COVID-19. Of course, during this time, we all come through a very challenging time ever, with a new way of living. We used to hang out with friends, we used to travel around, we used to work at the office, but because of the COVID, it changed the way we usually living. So today's discussion try to dive deep around the new normal, and we have a very great speaker tonight joining with us. And without further ado, I would like to introduce our Dhamma speaker for our show tonight. And first of all, we would like to welcome our special guest as well, because we have Ponte who just joined us for the first time. So I would like to pay my respect to Ponte Kangoda Villa Chandima. Ponte is a Buddhist monk residing in Ottawa, Canada right now. Ponte is the senior advisor to the Padisutta and a research scholar at Ronin Institute, New Jersey, USA. Ponte earned a PhD in Sanskrit from the University of Sri Jawadinapura in Sri Lanka. I'm sorry if I pronounce it incorrectly, but very great honor to have you join with us tonight. Ponte Chandima is also the author of many books, including the latest publication called 8 Buddhist Tips to Overcome COVID-19 Fear. So we can't wait to hear your insight of those tips as well for tonight's discussion, Ponte. So thank you so much. We have other Dhamma speaker as well, Ponte Kasapat Ponkamra. Thank you a lot. You have been our star for the Dhamma talk. So I believe our audience know Ponte a lot, but let me recall that Ponte is the executive director of the International Cambodian Buddhist Center, Sri Lanka. Ponte is also the meditation trainer. Currently, Ponte is staying at the Vipassana Turiya Buddhist Center based in Udon of Cambodia. We have also our the founder tonight joined us as the speaker as well, Ponte Soktivi. Very pleased to have you join us. Ponte Soktivi is the founder of the Dhammika Life Foundation. The foundation is a non-for-profit organization aiming at promoting the Buddha teachings. Ponte is leading and teaching Buddhism in English courses to her Dhamma friend, including I myself as his student, to better understand not only the English terminology but also the Buddha teaching. So we appreciate your initiative and leadership in this course. Ponte led his publication, as some of you may know. He published the Dhamma terminology here. It has been a very good reference to many of us in guided of the Buddhism in English term. Currently, Ponte is residing at Camera Potiram Pagoda, based in Seattle, United States. So welcome, Ponte. We have our last speaker, a very great honor as well to welcome Sister Jenny Chin. Thank you for joining us. Jenny have worked with children for many years in many roles, concerning the well-being of the children, the mental health. But currently, she's staying at home, mom, with two boys. One is 10 years old and the other is 6 months. So very pleased to have all Dhamma speaker joining us tonight. So as our topic, looking at the physical and mental sanitation, before dive deep at what do we mean by physical and mental sanitation here, I would like to also get your insight, because you come from a different corner of the world, and the situation of COVID nowadays is quite uncertain. There are new changes in every corner. So we would like to hear your insight as well as update to share with our audience tonight. From the area where you are basing now, how the COVID situation is, if you can share briefly. So I would like to first start with Ponte TV. If you can share us how the situation of COVID-19 in your area right now, please, Ponte.
Namatu Ratanatayasa. My homage to the three refugees, and may I pay respect to most Honorable Dr. Chandima from Ottawa, Canada. It's a great honor to have you with us, and my respect to Pante Kaspa from Odong Pasna Tura Meditation.
I think there's a problem with the sound. Can you still hear, Ponte? I think there may be some technical problem with by context. So probably given it based in US as well. So why not, Sister Jenny? You can share as well. How the situation, and then probably one contact internet is stable. You can also contribute, please.
Sure, thank you. I just want to pay my respect to the Triple Gem as well, and thank you so much for inviting me to speak today. It's an honor to be on a panel with all the Bantes here. I'm from the Seattle area, Seattle, Washington, U.S., and currently, just like everywhere in the U.S., COVID's been increasing. not a significant amount in comparison to other parts of the U.S., but it's still increasing nonetheless. And yeah, the way that I see it is that COVID is real, and it's something. I guess in the U.S. right now, there's a lot of confusion, a lot of political strife with this. It's become politicized in a sense, and so some people believe it, some people don't. Some people believe in wearing masks, some people don't. It's infringing on our rights, type of thing. And so I just kind of look to the facts, or what I believe to be facts, and the truth is that COVID is here, it exists, and that is killing people, and it's overwhelming our hospitals. So, and it's still the case here in the U.S. as well. Sometimes patients are getting sent over to other hospitals because some hospitals are filled, and hospitals are a place that that people go to get treated for many different types of ailments. So if you are sick with something else, the hospitals oftentimes cannot get to those people that are experiencing something other than COVID. So it's having a chain reaction, and so it's all the more important to keep ourselves safe. And I know that, again, the mask wearing thing is very politicized here, but I often think back about before COVID happened. If you walked into a doctor's office, there'd be a box of masks there, and there'll be a sign that says, if you're experiencing any cold symptoms, please wear a mask. And the reason why it's there is so that you don't spread any virus that you may be having inside of you, is so that you don't spread it to other folks in the office, right? And then for children, if a child goes to school and they have a 100-degree fever, they get sent back home. They are being asked to quarantine themselves for at least 24 hours before they can come back. And so this is typical protocol. This is very typical for us to be doing even before COVID-19 hit, to to wear a mask to protect ourselves and protect others, and to quarantine ourselves to protect ourselves and others. And so, and of course, washing hands, working with young children. Boy, do we get sick very, very often. And so hand washing is also pretty much second nature to us when we were working with children. And, we just have to be hyper vigilant, because COVID is a relatively new virus that scientists are still learning about. They're still discovering. They're still trying to figure out how best to deal with the situation. And all we can do as ordinary citizens is be patient with the professionals out there, and do what we can to protect ourselves, which is doing what we did before COVID, which is wear a mask, hand washing often, and isolating ourselves. And I think that's what's hard on everyone. But if we can keep in mind that, that we live in modern times in a globalized society where humans are traveling at a faster rate. We're contacting each other faster than many decades ago, and so we do have to be hyper vigilant. And sometimes when I do get overwhelmed with not being able to see family and things like that, I just remind myself, in a sense, I'm protecting them. I'm showing love and compassion by helping them not get sick. And I do this with my family, and I do that with my community. So yeah, the situation is here in the U.S. is still increasing. Vaccinations are getting rolled out, but it's going to be rolled out in stages. Doctors and frontline workers, health workers are going to get it first, and so forth and so forth. And it looks like in about June, July, more vaccinations will be available for the majority of citizens here.
So thank you so much, sister, and we hope by then we can make the situation better. But probably, still as you said, we still have to be cautious as always. Ponte, so TV is back. So I'm not sure if you have anything to add, given that you are residing in the same area, but probably sharing the update. Specifically, how the situation at the pagoda, is it still, Dhamma people coming in, or how crowded it is, or it less people than usual. Please share the update with us.
Yeah, thank you so much. My PC was shut down. Yeah, without a reason. Maybe there's a virus affecting when we talk about the virus topic. So yeah, thank you so much, Jenny, for sharing your information concerning with the situation of COVID. And as a matter of fact, it's been increasing dramatically, in the world, not just in the USA, but probably USA might be number one for the time being. When I do a research at the WHO page website, it says globally, the situation of COVID-19, there are around 73 million confirmed cases of people with the COVID-19 and resulting with deaths of 1.5 million. Yeah, that is the death rate. And for the US, specifically, I researched yesterday, and it says that there are around 16 million confirmed cases. And and the death is about, I'm not sure about the death. Yeah, so this is just for the state of Washington, and it was reported yesterday, December 17. There were confirmed cases of 217,000, and there were 3,117 deaths by yesterday. But on average scale for the USA, there are around 931 people per day have died from COVID-19. That is the data for the whole of USA, comparing to 8,000 people die per day of every causes in the United States. So yeah, I mean that's quite a huge number. It's like 10% of 100. So this is just a brief update of what is happening right now in the USA, and people also are getting scared and fear, and especially we have been practicing social distances, like in a temple. There were no any ceremonies. We cannot hold any ceremony at all. We have to respect the rules and regulations set by the states, and follow the ways of living so that we all can stay safe. So there are a lot of limit, to what we can do during this time. Especially we have to cancel all the ceremonies, except funerals. Except funerals, we still accept the funeral, but we conduct it instead of going physically. We conduct it through online chanting. More specifically, we use Zoom and the what we call the face chat one. So that's how we stay connected with the people around the temple, around the state, because that is inevitable, and it happens every season, every day of people. So what we can help people during this time is just to provide them the funeral service as a practice and guidance. We need to do it, so we can do it on Zoom instead of going physically. So that is just very much I can prescribe concerning with the issue of COVID-19. Thank you.
Thank you, Bante, for your sharing, and probably thanks to technology that it still allow us to do certain kind of ceremony, like you mentioned, as well as today we could connect with each other because of the technology. So moving from USA, I would like to travel to Canada. So with Ponte Chantima, can you share us how the situation in your area, please, concerning the COVID situation?
Thank you to Bantes and fellow speakers, especially to moderators as well. Okay, first, I want to say thank to Bante Muniputta for extending me an invitation to be a part of this valuable discussion. I think it's uh, physical sanitation and mental sanitation. And I saw it in brackets, it's like a new normal after COVID-19. Second, um, I want to say that my heart goes to all the people, families, everybody who's affected by this pandemic. And as Bante Muriputto brought up, that many people have died, some are in intensive cares, and some are taking extreme care. There may be some people who might not take enough precautions to keep them safe. So we are trying to, I guess, to send a message to everyone that this is what we understand, this is what could be done to, make the situation better. So, as the moderator said, that I'm from Ottawa area, Canada, and Ottawa is the capital city of Canada. So, uh, before I jump into the fact and figures, I would say that on the side of my opinion about the pandemic and what's going on now, I feel like this pandemic, COVID-19, has drastically changed the way we act, the way we speak, the way we think. So along that, I think there are a lot of impacts on four major aspects: physical aspect, mental aspect, emotional aspect, and spiritual aspect. So, uh, you know, I think we have a lot to talk about, physical and mental stuff, but I would like to sort of summarize a little bit of the physical aspect. So, uh, we know that we've been sort of confined to our places, houses, temples, and all that. So we have to we have been rethinking on how we can better act on the same things that we've been doing before. Maybe our work, maybe our day-to-day chores, like family things and friend stuff, sports. So we've been thinking differently this time to adapt to a certain way. Although some people don't like it, so that's one aspect. It has impacted mentally. There are a lot of things happening more than physical stuff. So I think a big problem is resilience. How to bounce back. So we're going to be talking that, I think, in a later stage of this discussion. And emotionally, a lot of things going on. I mean, in some countries, even some political leaders, they've been causing some issues too, right? Some racist issues, stigmatizing the pandemic, and not being able to understand that this is not a country-specific thing. This is a common thing that is been affecting everyone, regardless of country, ethnic, ethnicity, races, people who speak different languages. So we have to understand the inclusions. So, and spiritually. Spiritually, we've been thinking differently now, as Bhante Mayaputta brought up, that we've been using different online platforms, and people were not that comfortable in the first stage to us, but now people are, even our devotees in temples, they are okay with that. So I think we've been observing these drastical changes and impacts. So with that, I want to share with you some information about Ottawa. I'm not a medical reporter, but this is what I witnessed as of yesterday. um, I saw that as of yesterday, there were only 52 cases in Ottawa, just yesterday, Thursday, and one death. But the Ontario, the province that I live, or which I was a part of, this Ontario Hospital Association warns regions, multiple regions, with 40 cases per 100,000 to enter a 4-week lockdown. So this is what they are suggesting. As of now, there have been 9,221 21 people who had tested positive in Ottawa, and 379 cases they are active, and 8,500 around that number of cases are already resolved, and 388 people died already. So I think from the with the information that I understand, things are going okay. People are trying to follow, but I don't know the holiday season is in the corner. So hopefully, the government and the city government, they will, implement some new things. But I see some positive sides of the handling of pandemic in this city. I hope that things will be okay in the next couple of months. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Monday. Very hopeful to hear from you. So soon we will discuss, regarding how to strengthen our physical and mental sanitation, and your insight as you have published the recent book would be very helpful, and we're looking forward to that insight soon. But let us move from Canada now back to Cambodia. So, Ponte Kasapa, do you have any insight to share with our speaker, but to our audience as well, regarding the situation in Cambodia?
Okay, thank you, sister, and very good evening from Cambodia, and very good morning to United States and Canada. Let me pay my respect to the Triple Gem and dear honorable sirs, and especially our two venerable speakers, Venerable Gangodavila Chandiman, Venerable Muniputu Soktivi, and Sister Jenny, and the two moderators. I don't have much, information to be reported, and to be honest, you can Google from this Cambodian government. But from my side, around the temple area, there was one case confirmed, not reported, but was not confirmed, and the patient was brought to the quarantine area. And I think everything is fine in Cambodia because it's a very small country, and I think totally fine, because to be honest, government is doing a great job, because it has the power to control the people, not to move around as the people want. So I think, on 28, the situation was quite, serious, but I think the situation is quite fine, and everything is going back to normal. And yeah, and like last week, the temple was totally locked down, and we didn't allow the nuns and the monks going to anywhere wherever they want, and even we didn't accept the people to come to the temple for practice meditation, but we were very vigilant to accept only the devotees who bring the food. So we are afraid of COVID-19, but we have to survive. So that's all from me, and I think the moderator can share, because you are in Cambodia also. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you so much for sharing. For the different things that I concerning about the updates of the COVID-19. I'm so and especially with everything's going on, and I love the way how just trying to using Zoom and Zoom platform and the FaceTime for ceremonies. At least that we have that continue support from the temple, and especially during time. I'm really interested. I wanted to know. Let me just go with the ladies first. I'm going to go with Jenny. Jenny, what do we mean by physical and mental sanitation, and how can people improve their physical and mental sanitation? Could you give us a little insight about your opinion on that one? Thank you.
Yeah. So for me, I think mental and physical sanitation is almost like I think in the U.S. the term is called detoxing. It's just kind of like purging negative feelings, thoughts, emotions out, and replacing it with positive thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And it takes great effort. I learned a few years back that oftentimes not often, it is, our thoughts, emotions, and feelings are habits of the mind. And that habits are, bad habits are easier to fall into, and you fall into it, and you easily fall into it. And good habits are harder to develop and form. And so it takes great effort to establish a good habit. And for me, for a few years now, have been putting a lot of effort into mental sanitation. Before COVID hit, throughout my life, I've been dealing with a lot of mental health issues. And I finally sought help and sought therapy. And through the advice of my therapist, she says, Jenny, remind yourself what it's like to be happy. Start from there. With the encouragement of my husband, at first I thought to myself, like, well, what does that even mean? And so she says, well, in your childhood, what made you happy? What made you feel good? What made you kind of lose yourself in time? And so I thought to myself, there was, I started dancing. I just danced randomly in my room just to get a good feeling, just to remind my mind and my body what it felt like to be good, because for a long time, I was not feeling good. And after that, it sparked more curiosity, more and more curiosity, just from that pure enjoyment of feeling good. It sparked the curiosity of, I wonder what it's like to reconnect with my mother. My mother passed away when I was 21. And so I have been grieving her since. And one of the things that I did was I started making food. I started cooking Khmer food for myself and for my son, and it was a way for me to connect with her. And of course, that brought back good childhood memories. And suddenly I was, again, instead of spending my time depressed and full of anxiety, full of worry, I was replacing those thoughts and feelings with thoughts of actually enjoyment, like just good thoughts about memories of my mother nourishing me and feeding me. And then it actually brought me to another memory that I had, which was going to the temple with my mom. As a child, I loved it, surprisingly. But I loved going there because it was a place that I got to see other Khmer folks. It was a way to see my friends that I don't see at school. And so it was very socializing purpose for me. And so I actually started going to the temple. And at first it felt weird because, I didn't know the formal protocols and things like that. But I just reminded myself, I'm doing this to remind my body and my mind to feel good. And so as I was sitting there one day and I was chanting, Batang Saranang Gachami, it was like an aha moment that I had. And I've chanted that many times before, but it was just like me saying it, but I never cognized it. And so this one day that I went, I finally realized what it meant to take refuge in the Triple Gem. And through this process of mental sanitation that I was doing, I opened myself up to my spirituality. I opened myself up to learning spiritual teachings, I guess you can say. And just a few months back, I actually came across a video of Bhikkhu Bodhi, and he was talking about how it's important for us. It was a video about meditating on the characteristics of the Buddha. And he was talking about how it's important for us to get in a state of relaxation, in a state of joy, because it will deepen our practice more. It will deepen our understanding of why we meditate on the characteristics of the Buddha more. And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, this is what I've been doing for the last couple of years. I've been mental sanitizing myself. I've been practicing relaxation and reminding my body what it felt like. And by doing that, like I said, it opened me up. It was as if like this whole time when it came to spirituality and religion, it was almost like I was like forcing myself into it because I wanted to learn so much. I wanted to like, why do we do what we do? Things like that. And then suddenly in this calm state that I was in, I'm speaking metaphorically here, but it was as if I saw a doorknob. I saw the doorknob to to spirituality, and I just turned it and walked in. And I've been on this journey ever since. And one of the things I learned is, again, it's like putting the right effort. I was actually taking the effort into mental sanitation. And modern science is finally catching up to Buddhism. And we understand now just how much our physical health is directly affected by our mental health. And yeah, those are just my thoughts on mental sanitation and my own personal journey. If you can take anything from it, is, during this time, find a hobby that you get lost in for a little bit. Some people are taking up gardening, and that's something you can do at home. Some people are going out on nature walks more often. Some people are finding joy in crafting, any type of crafting. So, you don't have to think so big. Sometimes it starts off really, really small. And like Mahagasananda says, it's a step-by-step process. So, yeah.
I like that. Day talking. Remind yourself and to keep yourself emotionally and physically sanitary. Thank you for sharing, Jenny. I'm going to move on to, I'm so excited. I want to ask Bonte Chandima, Canada. And let's see, so what do you mean by physical and mental sanitations? How can people improve their physical and mental sanitation?
Thank you. I think in order we need to talk about physical and mental sanitation, we need to give some, some thoughts, some ideas to people who are watching here. So, I mean, these are pretty similar to what we hear always on the news, on the internet. So we know that they've been telling always, do not touch your face, right? I mean, it's a pretty good thing because before the pandemic, we know that if you have some acne issue, pimple issue, don't touch your face. But now it has come to a sort of extent that don't touch your face because you are bringing virus, germs around your face. So it's pretty good. So maybe we had to work on that. Try to minimize touching your face. Probably not at all. What about coughing thing? Maybe there are people who might catch cough, seasonal cough. So earlier, what we did was we were kind of, coughing into our hands, right? Sneezing into our hands. But nowadays, they are saying that you're gonna cover your mouth and nose, your elbow or tissue when coughing and sneezing because you are minimizing, the spreading of germs into other people. Although we are not traveling that much, but let's say if we go for doing some grocery, if we're going out for something essential, we got to be careful in containing that. And one of the very difficult things that people are having is to keep in the distance. This 1 meter, else I would say 3 feet distance. So, it's something that we can really improve because if you can keep your distance when you talk, when you do grocery, when you do everything, I hope that people can really sanitize, especially oneself and the other people. And the most important thing, washing your hands. Now, like this was in our hygiene before, right? We always say wash your hands, but nowadays it has come in two ways: washing our hands with soap and water, washing our hands with a liquid which contains at least more than 60% of alcohol. I think this is really good because I understand that virus can most probably, go into you through your hands. So if you can sanitize your hand, I would say wash your hand. Uh, I'm saying this one, washing your hand every month. Washing your hands as required, at least 20-30 seconds with soap if you want to use soap and water. But if you use kind of alcohol, kind of a gel or something, you're gonna use that for the same time, 20-30 seconds, until your hands feel dry. So kind of like, making sure that you are when you are safe, then you are protecting other people too, right? So that's on my tips about the physical sanitation. I think you asked only some thoughts about physical sanitation, right? Not about the mental sanitation. Am I right?
Yes, and
Yeah.
what about mental sanitation? Do you have
That,
anything to share for us?
a lot. But I'm gonna actually, looking at the time, I'm gonna kind
Okay,
of like recap,
that's
or maybe summarize everything as much as short as possible.
sure.
So when it comes to mental sanitation, I like this topic called resilience. Now, even before the pandemic, we know if we struggling with something, as Jenny brought up, we may have daily issues, we may have life issues. So the biggest problem for us is to bounce back from any issue. So when the COVID-19 hit all of us, I think this resilience has been very low to many people because it has sort of like encompassed us drastically. Uh, on the other hand, because we're using internet all the time, when we see images from media, especially the statistics numbers, how many people getting COVID today, how many people dying today, and dead bodies. So people kind of feeling so much stressed out. So I one time I thought that maybe we don't look at it. We sort of like spreading loving kindness to every being and hope that the governments can do more, people can do more. This kind of thought. Otherwise, we might either, feeling angry about somebody, maybe governments and people, maybe people who are not caring this. I don't know. I mean, there's something to think about when we to look at those numbers. But anyways, resilience, being able to get back to our normal life. So uh, I think that's a very big topic in today's world. I don't think the normalcy that we had before COVID-19 will not come back soon. So we need to sort of look at some of the tips to, reduce or lower this stress, depression, and anxiety. So one of the things that I suggest first is to think about some strategies that you already practiced before COVID hit us, especially when it comes to anxiety, stress, and all that. Now, for example, meditation. It's kind of a well accepted thing, right? If you are a Hindu, Christian, or whatever religion you come from, Buddhist, you can have your own meditation, right? So meditation makes us calm, at the same time being able to be insightful about what's going on, and being able to bring our peace of mind whenever we need. Another thing is diet, healthy diet. I mean, eating having a balanced diet. So I think when people are so struggling, what a lot of people doing is that they don't eat. Even when they are stressful, they don't eat. I saw one doctor suggesting some people eat a lot of sugary foods when they are stressed out. But if we can maintain our food habits, that's pretty good in the pandemic. Because people, I don't know why people think there's a connection between their stress and the food. They should not think there's a connection. You have to keep eating properly. So having planning for having a healthy diet, I mean balanced diet throughout the day. And then some exercises. Now there are a lot of facilities people can have at home, maybe things that you could do to elevate your physical fitness. And also, most importantly, sleep. Lack of sleep when you are struggling, anxious. Some people can't sleep, but it's a big problem. So try to have a good sleep, at least 7 8 hours at the very least. So that's my first tip to share with you guys. That means think of strategies you already know. There are new strategies for you, but maybe you can sort of accelerate the amount of those strategies. Number two is that stressful events can happen anytime. This is COVID-19. There may be more in the future. So we got to understand how we're gonna respond to these events. Uh, we may not have control over these events, right? This thing came up pretty abruptly, accidentally. So, but what we could do is we can change our response to handling these events. So it's in us. So we might not be able to manage what other people do, what the world is having. So, but we be able to handle how we're gonna respond to this particular event, right? So that's number two. So try to understand how better you can respond. Also, we can always get in touch with our friends, families over internet video calls, right? As Jenny said, that we don't go to see our parents and families, not because we don't want to, not because we want to really be disrespectful, but we want to make them safe. So in that way, we're kind of looking at different avenues to stay connected. But at the same time, I know when people are stuck at home, the divorce rate has been increasing in Canada. I saw that people are trying to hold their anger towards something, but now they are sort of like bursting in some cases, because you never expected to spend a lot of time with people that you know, but now you have to. So you have to be very careful when you talk, when you communicate, when you respond to your partners, loved ones, children, because you always see them all the time, right? So staying connected with your family and friends inside home, outside, but with a lot of wisdom. And also, most importantly, try to make a new routine. Now, this routine is different that you had before. So this is a new kind of a situation. So you're gonna make a new routine, not thinking that I did this before, now I can't do that, because you know that what's going on. So try to make a new regular routine. Finally, stay positive, because things will change. We have to believe in this thing called things will change. If we are the real followers of the Buddha, we have to always believe anicca. Anicca is change. But people take change in the wrong way. Oh, I'm getting old. I'm getting sick. Why don't we think about the positive side? Kids are growing. I'm getting promotion, and no situation will last forever. So we got to think about the positive side of anicca, one of the three fundamental characteristics of every phenomenon, in order for us to go to vipassana and finally attain nibbana. So positive thinking, stay positive. If you want to stay positive, be surrounded with the good people, wise people who can give you good advices. Don't be with people who always discourage you. We are stuck, this is not going to finish one day. So we had to believe that things will change one day. I hope that these steps are good for both physical and mental sanitation. Thank you.
Thank you. Being resilient, having resiliency, and minimize our touching, and beautiful tips. Thank you for all these tips, Bante Janama. And so my next, I want to go to Bante Munipoto. What do you mean by physical and mental sanitation? How can people improve their physical and mental sanitation?
Okay, I'm just gonna make it brief because Venerable Chandima has covered almost everything I wanted to say. So just a few words. We want to live clean. We want our house to be clean, our physical body to be clean and beautiful. Everything around us, we need a clean and tidy place to live. Actually, so in the same apply goes with the mind, mental sanitation. So it's a term to refer to somewhat similar to the physical sanitation. As long as we stay clean, we will be healthy. So the mind also need a healthy environment. For the physical sanitation, nowadays we use a hand sanitizer. So I would say we need a mind sanitizer as well. And that will come with kindness, compassion, mindfulness, alertness, wisdom, and most importantly, calmness. Stay calm during this outbreak. If you are not calming yourself enough, you can, get so anxious about things because you expect something to be, the way you want it, but it doesn't happen the way you want it, and that is how anxiety takes place and fear rises. So that's just my short tips. Thank you.
Very, very nice short tip. I like it. Mind sanitizer. That's beautiful. Being kind and compassionate, and what is it? House. Keep it tidy. I want to go over to Bante Gasapat. What do you mean by physical and mental sanitation? How can people improve their physical and mental sanitation? Could you give us a little insight on that one, please?
Thank you, sister. And I don't want to repeat other speakers elaborated about physical sanitation and mental sanitation. But let me say this: we only talk about physical and mental sanitation. Like, to be honest, we are too selfish sometimes. We never talk about the earth sanitation. We never care about the environment. We never worry about the water. We never worry about the food we eat. So we only talking about the physical. When it comes to COVID-19, I mean, the combat process, we are talking only about the physical and mental sanitation, but we never talk about the earth sanitation. So this ideology must go to every political leaders in the world, that they have to take this thing into consideration. So to be honest, the earth is sick. It's really, really sick. So it needs time to recover. When you are sick, what do? You need a physical sanitation and mental sanitation. You need to have a good food. You need to have a good sleep, and doctors come to treat you, and you meditate. And as other speakers say, that you try to connect with someone, like to heal yourself, and using different tips for mental resilience, impatibility, and like mental reconciliation. So all stuff you have. Must be patient. When you need a break, you can have a break. But when the earth needs a break, you are not patient. So my understanding is, in order to help the earth to recover, you must maintain your physical and mental sanitation, especially your mental sanitation. Be patient, let the earth, let the nature recover until it be well. That's all from me.
Thank you so much, Mante, and also previous speaker as well, for sharing very great insight when we're talking about physical and mental sanitation. And I like your last input, Mante Kasapa, regarding the rethinking about, not just caring about our own physical and mental, but the environment, the nature. It is very interesting. Earlier, Ponte Chandima also shared very briefly as well, certain tips that also may address to the situation that currently people are fearful of the new phenomena, that is the COVID pandemic. But I want to dive it very detailed and to get your insight as well, in a situation where people live with fear. And because of that fear, it has led to a misconception that resulting to hatred or discrimination we have witnessed. And you made your point earlier during the first opening remark as well, regarding the situation where people become hated as well. So can you share us a bit more, how can we address this matter, of the anxiety or the fear phenomena that lead to misconception and that result into hate and discrimination? Please, Ponte. I would like to refer to Ponte Chandima. Can you share more detail, because you shared us briefly earlier the tip, but when it comes to the situation of fear and that lead to hate and discrimination, how can you address it?
Okay, thank you. It's a good question. I think this is tied in with discrimination at the end. Um, how would I say, some racial attacks, because fear in terms of uh, whether I will get the disease, or fear that a certain community of people will be attacked at the end. So we know that we all like to live. Nobody wants to die. So we all do necessary things. That's what we do in this awareness thing. So I hope that people will understand better. But when it comes to things about fear, I know that this COVID-19 pandemic has has sort of brought up a surge in stigma and racist discourse, especially vilifying communities and spreading wild stereotypes and assigning blame to some communities. And we know that in the early stage, people were trying to find out, trying to see that this came from here, this came from there, this came from here, this is the bad practice they did. So some people are trying to, you know, what would be the best word? Scapegoat this. Uh, and then those communities were kind of like fear mongered. So that's why I'm thinking that uh, the governments doing enough to tackle this situation? I know the World Health Organization, UNICEF, and all these international, human rights groups, they are trying so much. But has the message gone to the ordinary folks? So that's the main thing. So I think that in order to combat this, wrong perception among the normal folks, we have to talk about, uh, you know, uh, inclusion. In Canada, we always talk about inclusion. Inclusion means that the practice or policy of providing equal access to opportunities and resources for people who might otherwise be excluded or marginalized. Especially, attacks are not happening to the majority. Attacks are happening to marginalized groups. I would say people from countries who do not show, a big group of the country's population. So what we had to do is we had to understand that. Uh, this disease is not something that we have to blame on somebody, because uh, anybody can get it, right? So we need to understand that maltreatment or discrimination on a certain kind of group of people based on the origin of disease or whatever, those kind of thoughts is not good. It really harms our unity. So we all need to play a role in here, rather stigmatizing and then doing some attacks. So recently, I know there was a monk attacking Sri Lankan monk who was who was jogging in the UK. He was attacked by a group of people, thinking that he was different. Maybe he might be somebody who is bringing this everywhere on the road. So the thing is that we need to understand that. There's no this specific origin of the disease. Now I don't see that there is a confirmed place of disease exactly. This is where it came from. They are still studying. So we need to understand that we have to combat this thing together, not trying to think that one specific group is behind this thing and then trying to do racist and xenophobic attacks. So what we could do in our normal society, in our normal life, you have to speak up when you see discrimination by those racist people. But be careful. There may be people who might be armed, who might be with different things. Keeping that in mind, but we need to speak up. Otherwise, who's going to, take care of them? I mean, if we don't take care of our people, fellow people, but speak up whenever you think it is safe, when others are treated poorly. And also, we have to always understand this is a virus that is spreading regardless of race, ethnicity, gender, age, sexual orientation. So, no matter what, regardless of what country, one race. So we have to understand that it's not one race, one kind of people, ethnicity. And the thing is, we have to be kind to every fellow citizen, especially when we are living in one country. At the same time, treat everyone with respect. And also, we have to be vigilant about cyberbullying and hate speech and hate crime. They are two different things. So these are things that can happen. About COVID-19 post thanks to social media providers. Sometimes they don't allow people to share COVID-19 information nowadays. It is COVID-19. It's not verified. So you can't share it on Facebook or some other places. So uh, I think there is some progress on some aspects, but when it comes to us, let's be kind to everyone. Let's not marginalize, stigmatize, scapegoat one person, one ethnicity, one country. For this is let's try to keep our unity and face this and minimize and then have the vaccinations faster and then see this resilience as soon as we can.
Thank you, Conte. I like the way you point out, to be inclusive and, speak up and as well as, treat with respect. As a human rights advocate, I find the term is quite relevant to human rights principle. Thank you so much, Conte. I would like to hear from Sister Jenny. If you can briefly, just brief because of the time as well. Do you have any insight how we could address the situation of hatred and discrimination that resulting from such fear of the COVID-19?
Sure. Well, like Venerable Chandama said, there is a top-down approach, but as an ordinary citizen, I will just speak on what I have done to kind of combat my own fear. When I started seeing things run out at the store, I'm just kind of like telling my husband, "We need to go. We need to go." And so I was realizing that oftentimes our fear we're exposed to it. We can't avoid it right now. Sorry, not avoid it, but we can't avoid social media because we're using it to kind of keep ourselves informed. But at the same time, while we're taking in social media, we're seeing a lot of negative things that are happening. And that is invoking a lot of fear within ourselves too. And it's really important for us to, at least for me, I've been practicing like equanimity, watching the news or watching things on scrolling through Facebook or social media in a non-judgmental way so that I don't get sucked into the fear. Because once I start feeling it bubble inside of me, then I kind of live, I'm kind of paranoid, right? And that fear, that paranoia is at the surface and I can easily be triggered, and, be quick with my words and be quick. And so I'm at a point in my spiritual practice and development that I know for myself that, if I was confronted with a harmful act towards me, that I would react in the same manner. And right now I'm practicing it. I know that, like Venerable Chandama said, you have to be careful how you react because you don't know if that person has a gun or a weapon or whatever. So right now, my best action is to kind of to stay silent at the moment. And again, right time and right place to combat fear and to speak up. But sometimes in the heat of the moment, that might not be appropriate. So it's best to be able to kind of avoid it as much as possible, or avoid that anger as much as possible, because you're just gonna possibly add more fuel to the fire if you're not trained enough yourself. And so, yeah, I remember a monk telling me, like, just be careful of getting sucked into other people's bad deeds too, because if they're in fear and they're reacting in fear, it's very easy to get sucked into that. So it's important to develop a way, like a protection. And, I'm not a monk. I'm very new to meditation, and so I'm still working on it and things like that. But as far as fear goes, watching TV sometimes stresses me out, watching the news and hearing about all of the people, treating each other horribly and badly, it does affect me. And so sometimes I just got to turn it off, and that's okay too. Take some time. Don't let it bubble up. And yeah, and again, like I was mentioning earlier, sometimes you got to replace the bad with a good, and sometimes it's a personal thing, so you got to find that for yourself. But I yeah. So the thing, one of the things that I practice is metta meditation too. Just understanding that everyone wants to survive, everybody strives to be happy, and nobody wants to suffer. So that helps me cope with anybody who's acting in a way that is harmful to others.
Okay, that is great. After our show, we will do the meta fauna together. So let us join together afterward. But let us move to Ponte Kasapa. We would like to hear your insight as well to the situation that of hate and discrimination. But I also wonder, like in this time of pandemic, there's a lot of stress. The stress resulting from the physical distance, the situation that we could not travel as we used to travel. Or for students, they have to study at home rather than going to school, or some places people have to work from home as well. And that situation put us in a very stressful moment. So, can you share us how people can handle emotionally through this kind of pandemic? Please, Hande.
Okay. Thank you, sister, for the question. But let me say this, the COVID-19 doesn't make you stressful, and to be honest, COVID-19 doesn't kill people. In reality, we make ourselves stressful, and in reality, we kill ourselves. You know why? Because, we never have been much concerned about the destruction of the respiratory system of the earth, the lung. There are so much deforestation. And so this is what happened to the world, that, when it comes to COVID-19, it's about respiratory system is infected. So what I want to say is, I want to let you know that human being must be very careful, must understand this is the natural process. So when we understand that this is the natural process, that it takes time, it takes patience to back to normal. So when we are in such situation, what we have to practice is, one thing is patience, and second thing, you have to develop more right understandings. So when it comes to right understanding, first step is you have to understand that the COVID-19 has its own direction. It will flow as the way it is, not as the way you want. So this is the way you have to change your mentality, your entire interpretation system, that when something happens, you cannot wish it to be different. You have to accept it as the way it is. So that is why you have to learn the natural process. And in Buddhism, as Honorable Tanima mentioned, that it's about accepting the reality that everything is changing. So, and when it comes to the process of changing, it can be in both ways, bad and good. So even bad situation will change, even good situation will change. So, and the COVID-19 is not the first, and it won't be the final disease arising in the world. So as human beings, we must be very patient, and we'll have more right understanding about the natural process. Then I think it would be fine for them not to feel stressful. But you said that people are stressful because of COVID-19. To be honest, I do not agree with that, because if no COVID-19, people are still stressful. So it's not something wrong with the COVID-19. It's something wrong with ourselves, that we don't know how to manage our emotions. And like people keep complaining that okay, I'm very busy, I'm hectic, I have a lot of stuff to do, schooling, like I have to take my kid to the school, I have to do the job. So but when they are at home, they feel stressful. So and that's why in Buddhist practice, remain calm when you have nothing to do. So this is the way, it's the best opportunity for you to change the way you think, the way you react. So I think, yeah, and to be honest, there are a lot of tips in YouTube, and there are many scholars, wrote about that. But my suggestion is change your understanding about the natural process, accept the way what is going on right now. So that's all from me.
Thank you so much, Bante. And let us hear from Bante Sokivi as well. If you have any insight to address this matter, please.
Yeah. In the first truth, dukkha ariya sajja, it is to be acknowledged. Fear, stress, suffering, dukkha is organic, right? It's natural, but it can be chemical based on the way we react, based on the way we respond to the suffering, to the stress, to the fear. So in psychological term also, we address that fear and suffering is also natural, right? But the way we react negatively or blindly react to the fear or to the situation, and that's how it changed to unnatural. It become a chemical, So that just be careful with the way we react. And as a matter of fact, we cannot avoid that because we are ordinary people. The Tujana, we live with fear and suffering, dukkha, each and every moment of our life. So we have to acknowledge this at the very beginning. We have to understand the reality that we all have to face this as long as we live as ordinary people. Even the Arahanta, the enlightened will also have to face the same thing, just like we face. But what makes them different is that the way they react to the world, right? That which is differentiate us from the Arahanta. So that's very much I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Bante. Given the time, I just want to give the floor to ex speaker to leave a very final message where Bante can probably. So probably start with Bante Sokivi and then continue, please. Bante.
Yes, short tip. I think during this time, stay home. Yeah, stay home. But we have to do something useful by staying home to avoid your stress and anxiety. We need to do something to make ourselves happy. A lot of things. Most of the time, you complain about having no time to meditate. Now you do, okay? Start meditating. Thank you.
Thank you, Bante. Sister Jenny?
That's a great tip, Bob. Yeah, I agree with Venerable Devi here that finding something small that brings you joy will help alleviate any type of stress. Even if it's just 10 minutes of your day, it's okay. You can just start off small. And for some of you, it might be cooking. So some of you might be dancing. Some of you might be meditating. I've been doing that a lot lately too. So yeah. Finding anything that makes you joy.
Thank you, Sister. Bante Kaspa, please. One sentence from you. We could not hear you, Bante.
Yeah. My suggestion is, sleep well, and if you cannot meditate, go before to the mirror and smile and have a word with yourself. May I be well and happy. That's all from me.
Very meaningful. Thank you, Bante. Now, Bante Chandima, please, your last message to our audience.
Okay. I would say, by looking at all this, I want to reiterate what I said. Especially we should not miss out on a daily meditation. uh, be concerned about your healthy diet and your workout and your sleep. At the same time, uh, stay positive, because your attitude is the one that is mostly affecting us, because we always have to believe that this will change uh, unexpectedly as well. This came unexpectedly, this will change unexpectedly. So have this positive thinking.
Thank you so much, Ponte. So our Dhamma talk now come to the end. I'm very thankful to all our Dhamma speaker for joining with us tonight and sharing very helpful insight with our audience. We would like to thank as well our sister Bokka, who kindly offered technical support as always, see behind the scene with us so that our Dhamma talk could be possible. Last but not least, our sincere thanks to Ponte Saktivi, who joined us as speaker today, but he's the founder and he helped to lead the initiative for our Dhamma talk. Now, before we end, we would like to invite all Dhamma friends to join us for Metta meditation, in which Ponte Kassapa will be leading, and may the merit from our sharing tonight share with all living beings. I am Sophia Job, tonight moderator with Sister Sakontin. Would like to thank you and goodbye. Our Metta meditation begins.
Hello everyone. Let us practice loving friendliness meditation for oneself. Self-loving friendliness meditation is the first section of Metta meditation. Self-loving friendliness meditation is designed to direct you to happily take care of yourself, to honestly forgive yourself, to truly accept yourself without conditions. Before starting, please find a very comfortable posture. Close your eyes. Relax your head, your shoulders, your arms, and your entire body. Please slowly take a very deep breath 3 times. When it is done, let your breath flow as naturally as it does. Observe your breath without judgment, reactions, and criticism. Just merely observe it as the way it is while you are listening to my Pali Metta chanting. Aham Sukhe Attanam Now, please create a very tender smile on your face. Visualize your happy and smiling face. You are very happy person with smiling face. Please keep smiling with honest heart because you are going to bless yourself. Please be aware of the phrases which I am going to recite and let yourself honestly feel the real meanings of the phrases. May I be well and happy. May I be free from hatred. May I be free from ill will. May I be free from anger. May I be free from physical and mental sufferings. May I take care of myself happily. May I take care of myself happily. May I take care of myself happily. Now, take your right hand and place it on your chest, and you can mentally repeat after me. In this home, we are family. We live under the same shelter, so we must be kind to each other, be compassionate to each other, be friendly to each other, help each other, respect one another, be happy every day, keep smiling with honest heart, be grateful, be positive, forgive even when it's really hard. Before open your eyes, please take again a very deep breath 3 times. Thank you. May you be well and happy.